The boy stared at the man intently as the man beat his drum. Intently. Could this be the end of civilization as we know it? If you're watching this shortly after I uploaded it, you'll no doubt have heard of what might be called the Covington incident. If it's been a couple of weeks plus, I'm sure it's no longer part of your memory, or at least quite obscure. I like to keep my channel fresh like that. I'm not going to deconstruct it, but use it as an example of sincere overreaction by individuals and cynical overreaction by the media. So here it goes, my attempt to explain this. A group of kids on a trip organised by their private school demonstrating against legalised abortion were accosted near the Lincoln Memorial by a second group called the Black Hebrew Israelites. They verbally abused the first group, the children protesting abortion. A man from a nearby march then inserted himself into the first group, the group of Covington kids, later saying that he was trying to diffuse tension from those kids and the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Here come Gad! Here come Gad! Look at our Make America Great Again hats! Look at the hats! Look at the hats!
What many people initially saw, both in early reports and on places like Twitter, was more or less just this. A kid, kinda smirking, staring at an old dude who, is beating a drum. The full context was left out and many people reacted with anger. Later, more context was shown and it became far less clear who the dickhead of the situation really was. And that really is where the story ends. These two people stared at each other, they didn't communicate with each other in any meaningful way. Tear gas was not deployed, but it was jumped all over like it had been. People like Kathy Griffin and Jim Carrey, the elder Venture brother, were angry at the kids. People like Sarah Huckabee Sanders Artichoke were angry at people angry at the kids. Writers wrote about it, Twitterers got all in a huff, even Bill Maher had something to say.
Stick your face in this elderly man and this smirking kid.
I sincerely doubt all of those people couldn't see that this is a whole load of nothing. Bill Maher mentioned it in the same way you might mention a story about someone robbing a 7-Eleven with their own severed penis. I think a lot of people who reacted online did it to promote themselves, but I also think a lot of people reacted with genuine emotions too. That doesn't explain why it was picked up by news editors. News cycle after news cycle. Kid stares at old man. More info on staring emerges. Old man forgives kid. Footage emerges of old man approaching kid and sort of makes it look like he was the confrontational one. More video emerges yet again casting doubt on old man approaching kid in confrontational way. Kid apologizes. Kids apologize. Their school apologizes. Someone famous defends the kids. Someone walks back their original article without apologizing. Covington was a lesson for us all. What the mainstream media news did was they saw a lot of people reacting to footage emerging of a staring incident and they ran with it. It didn't matter that they didn't have the facts. It was never about that. This has never been and never will be in any society a news story. People are disrespectful to each other every day in much more newsworthy ways. The news, or the business outlets that own the news, know how it works. Emotions get clicks, reactions get reactions. It can be quite easy to drum up 1 million views with simple stories, especially if you manufacture drama. 1 million more views with information emerges. Yeah, that's right, it turns out that kid, his taxes from 2016, they don't add up. And that man beating the drum, he's made contradictory statements about where he thinks capital gains should go, so it wasn't just the faceless corporate appendages that like to say they're the voice of America or the light of liberty or whatever crap it is, cashing in. It was a great opportunity to get messaging across, whether it be for your cause or for yourself. This is what America is, this is what the English-speaking West is, this is what the youth are. Buy my book, it's about just that. And so too, an opportunity to criticise those criticising. My point is this is a whole lot of nothing. At the same time as this happening, the Swiss president came out in Davos, a private economic summit, and said that Switzerland doesn't really care that Saudi Arabia, as a state, brutally murdered somebody in an embassy, because there's profit to be made. There are a dozen wars, at least, going on right now.
We'd only hope that they're in the minority, hopefully, that kind of action.
CNN devoted 9 minutes to Covington on the 20th of January's morning rundown, after talking about the border wall and before talking about an airstrike in Somalia that killed 52 people. They talked about that for 25 seconds. This is what Covington, so named even though it didn't happen there, exemplifies. News media that is not focused on news. Even if most of the media, and certainly most of the news, is nothing but for profit now, you'd still think that they'd cover the stories that matter. And there are stories that matter, even at the county level. But now that the copy-pasters have realised that they've created much ado about nothing, you see them walking it back. You see articles talking about what we learnt from Covington. What we learnt. What did we learn from misreporting a story that was never a story anyway? Is it very cynical of me to suspect that the answer is nothing?